So, welcome to Doonbeg, where we are today outside the front gate of Trump International Golf Links and Hotel. And this is owned by, yes, that Trump, Donald Trump, the USA President. And I'm going to try and move out of the way so I'm a little bit sheltered from the wind because you might not be able to hear me right now. So we're in Doonbeg in County Clare on the west coast of Ireland. And we have a reasonably good day. We're going to get the weather report from my beautiful assistant in a minute. No, Jennifer's going to give us the weather report in a couple of minutes about what we can expect for the next couple of days ahead. We do have loads of news that we're going to share with you today. The reason why we're kind of out in the wild today is because we've spent the morning trying to chase down one or two riders whose trackers have been giving us trouble over the last couple of days. So the two in particular were Simon Pace, and of course, as most of you will be aware, we had an issue with Bernard's tracker towards the top end of the race. So both of those are now active again. We've managed to track them both down and get them both with their batteries changed and the power back on in their trackers. I suppose the one we'll start with is Bernd Paul, who was at the front end of the business end of the race a couple of days ago when his tracker went dead about 36 hours ago. His tracker's back on live again. He's in Limerick. He's on his way to Kerry. He's currently running in second place. And I suppose at this point, we're just going to say that he is in second place, and until the exact situation of the last 36 hours is verified at the end of the race, that's the way things lie. So we'll move on from that. Simon is back in the middle of the field, and he is now active back on the tracker. Thank you to the people who let us know that was lapsed. I know his dad was in touch, so it's good to see that you're keeping an eye on what your relatives and relations are doing. So we're here in Doonbeg. We've spoken to a couple of the leading riders this morning. We spoke to Dan, who's currently in fourth place. How was he feeling, Jennifer? He was a little bit...
Dan was in good spirits. He was quite focused, and he was just having a quick break, wasn't he? Really, just stuffing in the calories.
No, that wasn't Dan. That was Luke. Dan was on the bike.
Ah, okay. Dan, he was fine. He was really focused, actually. Focused that we hardly interacted with him at all. Yeah. So we said hello.
We said hello, and we just kind of got a bit of a grunt back, and we said we'd leave him. So yeah, Dan was he seemed in good spirits, but whatever. Yeah. Luke, we met earlier back down in somewhere Kilkeel, I think in the southern tip.
He said we were the highlight of his day because
we met him yesterday.
Yeah, I know, but he's
we were
been
the highlight
alone,
of his day.
So.
It's the nicest thing anyone said to me in years. So he was in good form. He's been on his own pretty much for the last few days. So we did bump into him up in Connemara yesterday, and we had a quick chat with him. We shared the video with you. And he was very excited to kind of see familiar faces and people he kind of knew why he was there, which was pretty cool. What other news have we got? We'll go through the placings. So we'll go through the scratches first. So unfortunately, we've lost about another 6 or 7 riders. We start off with in the pairs category. We lost Katie and Lee. Yeah. Katie had been struggling with, when I met her a couple of days ago in Donegal, she was worried about Achilles, and she thought she might not be able to make it. She's since made it pretty much the whole way around Mayo, but unfortunately has had to pull out this morning. So herself and Lee are now out of the pairs competition. In the ladies event, we've had another leader hit the pack. So we lost Paula Reginer yesterday. Today we unfortunately lost Charlotte Thompson. So she was in the lead in the ladies race and was going really, really well. She's had a bit of an issue with her neck and has had to pull out of the event. So that's a very sad state of affairs for Charlotte because she was so excited. She was going really, really well. So she's out of the race. That's all in the ladies event that are going on. We've still got, I think, 4 or 5 riders in that, from Emily Chappell, who's now in the lead in the women's event, right back to Birgit Zimmermann, who is a little bit behind, but is playing a blinder, keeping things in check at the back of the race. The men who are out today, Jason Woodhouse, another person who took part in this last year, and he is back in. He's in Galway at this point. He's handed in the bike, and he's back on the road. Or he's back getting his way to Cork to pick up his stuff. He's with Odd Jortheim, the Norwegian guy we spoke to a few days ago, and they had a bit of banter between them, but they're actually together now. They've both scratched this morning, so I don't know which of them wins in that instance, because I know there was a bit of competition as to which one of those two would beat the other. So they're in Galway together. They even invited us for ice cream, but unfortunately we can't make it because we're busy reporting to you and telling you what's going on. Nico, I can't pronounce his surname. I'm so sorry. It's Votja. Nico Votia is also on the scratch list. And the final one is another person we shared an interview with you a couple of days ago from Malin Head, Paul Curran, one of the Irish entrants in the race. He is also, unfortunately, out of the event. Now, let me see if I can find some questions from you or comments from you, if there are any. I'm not quite sure how this Facebook Live works anymore. It used to work very differently, and now it won't let me see what I want to see. So, video only mode. Swipe left to reveal comments and reactions. Here we go. No, I can't see anything. I don't know if you've said stuff or if I just can't see it or if I'm just a little bit too thick in here. But yeah, what have we got in weather-wise? What are we expecting?
So,
well, if you can look over here, first of all, there's the windy.
Yeah, great representation. So it's windy. It's 17 degrees, feels like 16, mostly cloudy with showers in spots. And it's going to be 11 degrees tonight and partly cloudy, so no rain this evening.
Okay. At the top end of the race, we have Bjorn. He's just in Tralee, just through Tralee this morning, and he is going to be... Hi, Scott. Nice to hear you. Good morning from Chicago. Great to hear we've got some international listeners. We're at your president's home.
Yeah.
We're at Trump
International.
Hope you're enjoying the American connection, and we've got the American flag flying over the other side here. We did that specially for you, Scott, I promise. Back to the news. Bjorn is heading into the mountains in Kerry. So the way this course works is you get to Derry and then it gets very lumpy really quickly. Donegal is really, really mountainous. It's up and down, undulating the whole way. It flattens out from about when you get to southern Donegal, from about Donegal town right around through Sligo, Mayo, Galway, even a little bit of Clare. It's relatively flat. Through Limerick, still again, you're along the coast, it's flat. When you hit Kerry, everything just goes up. There's 3 of the 5 passes that are taken, that form the Mike Hall King of the Mountains pass. They're all in County Kerry. It's going to be interesting to see how that develops over the course of the next few days. He has just hit the mountains. Bernd Paul is just behind him, and then Luke and Dan, who we mentioned, they're coming in thick and fast, just behind the 2 boys. So those 4 are there. We did meet Alez, I think that's his name, Alez, further back up earlier this morning. So the top 5 are all kind of from here at Doonbeg and on. The rest are still coming through Galway mostly. Some are still in Connemara, some still out in Achill, but they're the bulk of the group. So the majority of the riders that are left in the race are in the Achill to Galway region at the moment, and we're going to be bringing you updates from them as they come through Galway and into Clare over the next couple of days. We're expecting a finish sometime on Wednesday. Don't hold us to that, but it'll be either early Wednesday or into the kind of the afternoon. It's kind of the ballpark of when we expect it to finish. We'll see how it goes, because like in the women's event, we've just kept losing the people at the front, so we're not going to say anything quite yet about how that's going to go, but I think it's very important. There is one other news story we've been meaning to bring to you all week, and it's about Ivan Cornell. He's running in about 20th position, give or take a couple of spots, and has been pretty consistent the whole way through the race. He's on a fixie. Now, what that means, most people who are listening to this will go, oh, he's on a fixie, that's amazing. To those of you who don't know what a fixie is, it's a single-speed bike, but not only that, it doesn't stop. So on a normal bike, when you're coming down a hill, for example, you freewheel, your feet don't move, the wheels keep moving. But on a fixie, your feet can't stop moving, because if you stop moving, you brake. And he has basically not had his feet stop for a minute since he started riding in Dublin 5 days ago, and it's absolutely phenomenal, his thing. We did have 2. Tim Bikes had issues with his Garmin and he had to withdraw, but we are back down to 1 fixie, Ivan Cornell. He'd be the first person, I believe, I'll check that for tomorrow, but he'll be the first person, I believe, to finish the course on a fixie if he manages to get around over the course of the next few days. I think that's it from us today. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Thank you for the comments and the few that came in, and keep coming with the questions. Keep telling us who you want to hear from. We'll do our best. We can't guarantee it, but we'll do our best to feature as many of your friends and family as we can over the course of the next couple of days as this race draws to a conclusion in Cork very, very shortly for some people, a little bit longer for others. I've been Breffney Early. This is Jennifer, and we will be back to you again tomorrow. Talk to you then.